everyone. My name is Brandon, and this is the age of the comeback. Woo! I'm always so excited, so excited to record these videos every Friday and release them on Saturdays. It's been a journey for me, to say the least. Been a journey for me, to say the least, because for every lesson that I speak about per week, whether it be the roles of infinity, the superpower of empathy, the beginning, so on and so forth, I get to apply these lessons throughout the following weeks and give you feedback about my experience. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey to say the least. It's been a journey to say the least. Now, just to recap on last week's episode. Well, last week's episode was Thank You, Dad, and that was a late Father's Day tribute. However, the week prior to that was going back to roots. Going back to roots. And my roots, while I'm discovering myself in the unknown at the moment, is boxing. I love boxing since I was a teenager. I've competed in all sorts of smokers, which are exhibitions. I love boxing, and I don't know why I let it go for so long. However, I did. Now I'm exploring boxing again, and it's just been a fantastic journey. I find myself, after packing on so much muscle in the weight room, that boxing is getting increasingly easier, which is usually the opposite. When you get bulky in the gym, it's really hard to fight, and that's not the case right now. So going into that, today's lesson is named Health and the Mind-Body Split. Again, this episode's name is Health and the Mind-Body Split. Now, what the hell are you talking about, Brandon? What are you, man? Who would listen to this crazy guy, right? Who would listen to this guy? Look, check it out. Bear with me here, okay? Bear with me here. I think this is a far-fetched theory of mine. However, it makes a lot of sense once action is applied to it. And let me explain. So health and the mind-body split. What does that mean? Well, what does that mean to you? Let me ask you that question. What does the mind-body split have to do with your health? What does it have to do? You have the answers. Ask yourself, what does the mind-body split have to do with my health? And the mind-body split. Let's talk about the mind-body split for a sec. The mind-body split is such a phenomenon, to say the least. It's such an amazing phenomenon because it is being stuck in between the mind and the body. Depending on where you're investing your energy, that's where your body and your health and your habits will reflect in the present. So the mind body split is where you're stuck in between two rocks in a hard place, to say the least. Okay? So how that applies, the purpose of this video and episode is conquering the mind-body split in regards to health. It can apply to everything else, right? Whether it be your relationship, your career, your finances, it can apply, and the list goes on. However, it can apply to everything. This episode is speaking strictly about health. Okay, now the mind body split is the separation of the two consciousnesses in between the mind and the body, which includes the heart. So the heart conscious. Okay, and depending on where the energy is invested, right? Whether you're trying to look how you did in the past or trying to grow towards your future, will have a detrimental effect on the way that your health reflects. Let me tell you a story. Okay. Now, this story, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm actually writing about this particular subject in my book, Conversations with Ego. And the mind body split when it comes to health. What this story consists of is with me starting off with boxing, right? I started off in my teenage years, and within my teenage years, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I didn't really have all of these priorities. Like, I found the love I was looking for inside the boxing gym. I found it. Found it. I didn't have a need to go anywhere else. Can you believe that my mom had to force me to get my driver's license at 16? Because all I wanted to do after school was go to the boxing gym, and I knew the run routes, I knew the bus routes. It was great. It was great, and I loved the workout. Man, I was training so much more than what the sport demands. After 3 hours in the boxing gym, I was running 8 miles a night, Monday through Friday. Can you believe that? Crazy! Crazy! I love the sport so much because I fell in love with it. Being able to have the confidence within myself to know that what I was capable of, it was a truly a something to me to be proud of myself for, because I don't feel like anybody was proud of me at the time. So I was proud of myself. Now fast forward. Well, before we fast forward, with that kind of training routine, you can only imagine how ripped I was. I was 175, clean 8-pack, beautiful jawline. The whole spiel. You know what I'm saying? It was great. It was great. And fast forward to my late 20s. My late 20s after the deployments. After the deployments and coming back home, I felt a surge of trying to relive what I missed out on my early 20s. That was, learning how to speak to girls and having game and, learning how to make first moves. And it was a very awkward time for me after my deployments overseas at 25. Well, it was from 19 up to 25, right? And at 25, you kind of miss out on all of that craziness of the early 20s, right? And in a desperate attempt to try to relive those early 20s, I started partying. And when I say partying, I was hanging around with wrong crowds. I was desperately looking for a place to fit into this world again because I felt that I wasn't worthy to be loved inside of the boxing gym again. So I started partying. I started doing lots of cocaine. I started drinking tons of alcohol, doing tons of late night eating, tons of late night eating, and I let myself go. So ripped with the 8 pack at 175 in my teenage years, and then in my late 20s, being an obese 240. And I was ashamed of myself. I caved in to what my need to be loved at the time put me through. I caved in. I caved into it. And what those conversations with ego reflected was that, no woman would ever want me. I was very self conscious of how I looked. And also, weirdly enough, how I smelled, even though I smelled fine. However, it was just something that I thought about. It was just something I thought about. And that's where I was at. Okay, that was what my present reflected as far as I want to say 25 all the way up to 30. 25 all the way up to 30, I'd say. So, that being said, now fast forward to now, the present. It's crazy because I had a conversation with my physical trainer, or my personal trainer, Leon, and he was so adamant about getting me to do calisthenics, and I wanted to build muscle. Now let's backtrack just a sec here, because previously to me getting a personal trainer, okay, I was in a battle of recovering my life. I was in a battle of recovering my life because my mind wanted me to fight again. My mind was saying, "Oh, you can do it, Brandon. You can do it, Brandon. You can do it." And I can, of course I can. However, my mind was telling me and always comparing myself, my current body at the time, to the ripped 175 8 pack teenage Brandon. However, my body was screaming something else. It was screaming something else to me, which was move towards your vision. Move towards your vision of the infinite amount of potentials that there are. And choose one. Choose the one that connects with you. So, with that being the case, for the fight for my life to recover my health, I joined a local gym and I got suckered into personal training. however, however, it's been the biggest blessing for me as far as the personal trainer and the personal training. Thank you so much, Leon. Huge shout out to you. Is because I've learned delayed gratification and consistency. And the results are showing. I've gotten super strong because of the consistency and learning delayed gratification. Now, let's get back to that conversation that Leon and I had. So Leon asked me, "Dude, I'm trying to get you to do a lot more calisthenics, a lot more body weight lifts." And I told him that, "Dude, I've done calisthenics for most of my life. And I'm not making any excuses about it. I love calisthenics. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, so on and so forth. However, that was a reflection of the training I did in my past with boxing. That was a reflection of the training I did in my past. However, what my body was calling me to do was look towards the future. Look towards the future. And through taking that risk of getting a personal trainer and getting physically in shape, I learned ways to get mentally in shape as well regarding meditation. So with meditation is a beautiful, efficient way of how to match the electromagnetic signature of the future self that you want to create for yourself in the present. I know that was a very, that was a mouthful. However, let me explain. So there's an infinite amount of potentials in the world, right? I could go and get an 8 ball right now, right, and become a cokehead again. I'm not going to do that, right? However, that's a potential. Okay, just to put it out there. Now, the potential that my body was surging towards through my learned meditations were for me to become a transformational trainer, a leadership trainer, an emotional intelligence trainer, and a motivational speaker. And with all of those realms of possibilities, which are all intertwined, I could be all five of that within that field. Okay. However, with that, with those in the transformational realm, so a transformational trainer, a leadership trainer, emotional intelligence trainer, and so more, and a motivational speaker. Four. Okay, so with four of those within that realm, I could become all of those. So now, what do these four things have in common? You get to speak in front of an audience. You get to speak in front of an audience. Okay? And what my body was surging towards me, what my body was attracting towards me is have a body that shows your audience that you respect yourself. Have a body that shows your audience that you respect yourself. And since I started going towards that vision, since I started matching the congruency and becoming the future self in the present with the actions that I do in the present that match the future self, I've gotten super strong because the physique I want to build for the future, I'm now conducting those actions in the present to have a physique that shows that I respect myself. So that's where the mind body split was resolved or got conquered. Was that I realized through meditation that looking towards my past and trying to compare myself to the past was no longer an option. I mean, it's an option if if you're used to driving yourself insane. However, I wasn't trying to create those same results anymore. So, like choosing yourself, choosing the past, and then trying to choose the future. So being stuck in between the two creates a paralyzation in the middle to where you don't achieve any results towards either direction. Okay, and then that's what's called the mind body split. Okay, so my mind body split was that my mind was telling me to go back to the past, which is impossible, to box again, to fight again, to do that, and I and then also my body, and on the other end, my body was telling me to move towards your future, move towards your vision. You want to become a transformational coach. You want to be a leadership coach. You want to be an emotional intelligence coach. You want to be a motivational speaker. You want to speak in front of tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. Get a physique that shows that you respect yourself. I was in between the two, and because of that paralyzing moment or that space, you don't create results in either direction. Because I may want to box, however, I'm training to gain muscle. However, or I'm trying to gain muscle, but I'm doing too much cardio to box. You see what I'm saying? Like they counteract each other to where there's no results that happen in the present. There's no creation. Crazy, crazy, I know. So now, so now here's the thing, okay? How to conquer the mind-body split. Within my experience, what actually happened was that I doubled down. Through meditation, I doubled down on what I wanted to create for my future. I stopped wanting to revisit the past. I wanted to, I not even wanted to, I am moving towards my future and creating the results of future Brandon in the present. And that's by gaining muscle, which is a reflection of my health. It shows that I take care of myself. It shows that I respect my vessel. It shows that I love myself. And it shows the power that I carry and the confidence that I carry within myself. And that's huge. That's huge when it comes to public speaking. It's huge. Huge. So doubling down with the mind, saying, okay, fuck it. I am going to build as much muscle as I possibly can, which I did. Then from there, the body was already aligned with my future. And do you know how much muscle I packed on? Like, let me just put like a couple, you know what? I'm just going to put out my bench max out there, right? So with dumbbell flat bench, right? I went from going to like 50s, like 50s for 3 sets of 10, right? Now I'm doing 100 for 3 sets of 8. And that's 100 in each hand. Okay, not 50-50, 100 in each hand within 4 months. That's how fast the results show when you double down on what you want mentally and spiritually and with your body and with your heart. That's how fast results show. Doubling down. The mind body split is just a story you create. Doubling down with the mind and the body towards the future and just letting go of the past will create the results you want in your life. Double down. Double down. So that's the story. Okay? How I conquered my health through the mind body split. And just to reiterate, it's been a journey. It's not going to be perfect and it's not going to look perfect. There's going to be a lot of ugly moments. Trust me. There's going to be a lot of ugly moments during that space and time of your life. It really is. However, double down. Bet on you. You'll win every time. Bet on you. You'll win every single time. So now, the lesson here, guys, is the mind-body split. And what does that mean? The mind-body split is where the mind is revisiting the past and the body is yearning to move towards the future, towards your vision, towards the future self that you want to create for yourself. And being in between the two, between the past and the future, creates a paralyzation of not being able to decide whether you want to create the results of the past or create the results of your future, with thus trying to do both, creating no results in the present. And then that's what the mind-body split is. The way to conquer the mind-body split is to double down. To double down on your actions and double down on your mentality towards those actions. What that means is double down on the actions of being congruent with what the future self holds for you, the future self that you want to match, the future self that you want to manifest and create for yourself. Start doing those actions of the future self now in the present, and then mentally tune in with those actions. Know that you're going towards your future self. Know that you're going towards and creating your future self. Know that you're aligning with that potential that you chose for yourself. Double down. Bet on you. You'll always win. That's the lesson, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe, share, like my channel. This is also very new to me still. It's such a journey. Please support your boy for spreading emotional intelligence and leadership and transformational messages of taking risks, creativity, self-love, passion, worthiness, courage. Then the list goes on and on and on. Just, I invite you to share this channel in order to spread the message of letting go or having the courage to let go of the perfectionist in order to start taking risks in your life. And with that being said, that's the lesson, guys. My name is Brandon. This is the Age of the Comeback, and I'll see you guys next time. You coming, babe? I'll just edit this piece out. Come here, can I have a kiss? Come here. I'll put this in the video. Say hi to my beautiful wife.